What happens when two rogue engineers in a German barn decide Mercedes-Benz is making cars that are way too sensible? You get AMG, the high-performance subsidiary of Mercedes-Benz AG that turns sleepy luxury cruisers into tire-shredding muscle sedans. Today, Mercedes-AMG GmbH is headquartered in Falterbach, Baden-Württemberg, Germany, operating as a wholly owned subsidiary of Mercedes-Benz AG under the Mercedes-Benz Group. Before corporate boardrooms controlled the brand, AMG was a wild, independent tuning house that shocked the entire automotive world. In 1986, their modified midsize sedan was claimed to be the fastest passenger sedan on planet Earth, pulling away from supercar royalty like the Lamborghini Countach. AMG didn't just join Mercedes-Benz. AMG invaded, conquered, and fundamentally transformed the identity of the most famous luxury brand in history. To understand how AMG took over Stuttgart, you have to go back to the beginning. The name AMG comes directly from the surnames of its founders, Hans Werner Aufrecht and Erhard Melcher, plus Aufrecht's birthplace of Grossaspach. AMG started out strictly as an independent engineering firm, designing and testing high-performance racing engines for Mercedes vehicles. In 1976, the business had grown so rapidly that the majority of AMG's operations moved to Falterbach, but racing engine development stayed behind in Bergstall. At that exact moment, Erhard Melcher ceased his official partnership in the business, though he kept working at the Bergstall facility. In those early days, AMG operated with zero official backing from Daimler-Benz. Mercedes hadn't offered a manual transmission V8 since the early 1970s. So what did AMG do? They independently sourced and installed a Getrag 5-speed manual transmission behind modified Mercedes V8s for buyers who demanded real driver engagement. That renegade spirit set the stage for everything that followed. Throughout the early 1980s and up to 1990, AMG built its reputation as an entirely independent company from Daimler-Benz, creating custom road cars and offering crazy performance packages. If you took your Benz to AMG back then, you could custom order engine displacement increases to 5.2 liters or 5.4 liters. They installed performance top-ends with port and polished heads and intakes, light valve trains, and aggressive performance cams. The pinnacle of AMG performance during this era was their newly developed DOHC 32-valve engine. To handle the extra power, AMG offered 15-inch or 16-inch ATS AMG 5-spoke road wheels, coupled to a custom performance suspension package featuring uprated and lowered springs with revalved shock absorbers. The interior options were equally wild. Recaro sport seats, smaller diameter steering wheels, custom instrument clusters, shift knobs, hi-fi stereo systems, bespoke wood packages, and even in-car refrigerators. AMG also offered a full chrome delete option, painting all brightwork satin black or body color. And then there were the body upgrades, ranging from subtle front spoilers to massive aggressive wide-body kits for the W126 coupes. How desirable are those vintage wide-bodies today? In 2022, classic W126 AMG wide-body coupes reached over $700,000 on the classic collector market. One car defined AMG's independent era. It was an AMG-modified W124 E-Class sedan released in 1986. Officially nicknamed the Hammer, this car featured an AMG-tuned 5.6-liter DOHC Mercedes-Benz V8 stuffed inside a mid-size family sedan. For a street engine in 1986, it was ridiculously advanced, featuring 4 valves per cylinder. The performance claims were staggering. The Hammer was claimed to be the world's fastest passenger sedan in 1986. Between 100 and 190 km/h, that's 60 to 120 mph, the Hammer was claimed to push faster than a Lamborghini Countach. Think about how insane that was in 1986. Comfortable 4-door German sedan out-accelerating an Italian V12 supercar in rolling drag races. Later Hammer models became even more powerful and introduced the legendary 17-inch AMG Aero 1 Hammer wheels. The Hammer put the entire auto industry on notice, proving that AMG could out-engineer established supercar manufacturers. In 1993, AMG had grown into a high-profile purveyor of modified Mercedes-Benz vehicles. Mercedes leadership realized they could no longer ignore what AMG was doing. That same year in 1993, Daimler-Benz AG and AMG signed a historic cooperation agreement. This deal allowed AMG options and vehicles to be sold directly inside official Mercedes-Benz showrooms worldwide, using Daimler-Benz's vast dealer network. It also opened the door for joint vehicle development, leading directly to the very first co-developed production car, the Mercedes-Benz C36 AMG. But the takeover didn't stop with a sales agreement. On January 1, 1999, Daimler Chrysler AG acquired a 51% controlling interest in AMG, renaming the company Mercedes-AMG GmbH. As part of the restructuring, the racing engine division was separated and kept operating in Bergstall under the name HWA, derived from founder Hans Werner Aufrecht's initials. Then on January 1, 2005, Hans Werner Aufrecht sold his remaining shares to Daimler Chrysler. From that moment on, Mercedes-AMG GmbH became a wholly owned subsidiary of the Mercedes-Benz Group. Once AMG was fully integrated into Mercedes-Benz, the engineering war turned to forced induction and pure motor displacement. Through the early 2000s, AMG focused principally on supercharged V8 and V6 engines, creating torque monsters with insane straight-line speed. But in 2006, AMG officially abandoned supercharger technology. Why? Because they introduced the iconic naturally aspirated 6.2-liter M156 V8. On January 16, 2006, Mercedes-AMG chairman Volker Mornhinweg told Autoweek that the company would use turbocharging for higher output moving forward rather than supercharging. That promise materialized in 2011 when AMG released the M157 5.5-liter biturbo V8. The new twin-turbo powerplant supplanted the naturally aspirated M156 in AMG's full-size models like the S-Class and CL-Class, before trickling down to the CLS, E-Class, and ML-Class. Interestingly, while BMW built tri-turbo diesels for their M Performance line, Mercedes-AMG chairman Ola Kalinius explicitly stated in 2012 that Mercedes-AMG would not produce diesel engines to compete with BMW. And while classic 1980s AMG models offered manual transmissions, modern performance required ultra-fast automatic shifts, transitioning from the 5G-tronic to the 7G-tronic, and eventually the 9G-tronic with speed-shift technology. If you take a close look at the back of a modern high-performance Mercedes, you'll notice a distinct badging convention. Standard Mercedes-Benz vehicles carry 3 numerals like E350. AMG variants are badged with 2 numerals like E63, but those numbers don't always indicate literal engine size anymore. Instead, they serve as a tribute to earlier heritage cars, like the legendary 300 SEL 6.3-liter. For example, newer AMG V8 models like the E63 actually pack a 4-liter V8 under the hood. AMG's history also contains some surprising crossovers. Beyond Mercedes cars, AMG actually manufactured special tuned performance variants of select Mitsubishi and Honda models. As the brand exploded in popularity worldwide, demand eventually required dedicated retail space. In 2018, the world's very first standalone Mercedes-AMG dealership, AMG Sydney, officially opened its doors in Sydney, Australia. Today, AMG independently hires its own engineers and contracts with manufacturers to customize high-performance vehicles, operating from its headquarters in Affalterbach. Compared to regular Mercedes-Benz models, AMG vehicles feature more aggressive styling, higher performance output, sharper handling, improved high-speed stability, and significantly more carbon fiber. They stand as the most expensive and highest-performing variants in almost every Mercedes-Benz model class. What started as an unauthorized tuning project in a Bergstall garage ended up completely capturing the soul of Mercedes-Benz. AMG forced a conservative German luxury automaker to embrace tire smoking, loud V8 performance. So here's my question for you. If you could own any era of AMG, would you take a classic 1980s W124 Hammer, a naturally aspirated 6.2-liter M156 beast, or a modern biturbo V8 monster? Drop your take in the comments below, hit that like button, and subscribe for more deep dives into automotive history.